what does this mean? It can mean hiring a coach. It can mean investing in a skill development program. It can mean reading books, audiobooks. It could mean whatever it means to you.
Also, focusing on skill building, getting outside your comfort zone, right? Being better for yourself is going to make you a better professional. It's going to make you a better human, and it's just going to make you enjoy life to a higher degree.
Welcome back to the Career Advancement Academy. This is our first full episode. I am so excited.
Feels like the first day of school.
Oh, so excited. Welcome to class, everyone. We are thrilled to be here. And since it's our first episode, we thought it would be a great idea to give you our top 5 Dennison approved career advancement tips. What do you think?
Right into it.
I know, we're giving the goods. Giving the goods right up front. So what's really great about these tips is that each one of them are going to be future episodes where we're going to dive really, really deep.
Stay tuned.
Into how exactly you can implement some of these tips into your life, day to day, into your career, in a lot more detail. But we're going to give you an overview of our top 5 tips so you can start making some plans, some implementation to start advancing your career right away. What do you think?
Get your notepad.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Should we dive right in right away?
I think so.
Okay. So our top tip, one of our top 5 tips, is going to be having a well-written resume. Why is this so important, Jack?
Well, on so many levels, Kara. I mean, first and foremost, you need a well-written resume to sell yourself to any roles that you're going to be going after.
More importantly, the amount of times that we talk to professionals that have 5 minimum, 10, 15, 20, 25 years of experience, and they don't have a resume or haven't updated their resume in 5 to 10 years or have their old resume from college, and it does not accurately tell or present the professional in any great way whatsoever. It's a travesty, right?
It really is. But good on you for having people kind of pull you through your career and not needing it to the stage. But we're here now, right? We're now looking at it. It's now important. And so now become a priority.
Yeah. So we're still in this day and age where you need to have a resume. Why is a resume so important? A resume is so important because it is what I consider a highlight reel of your greatest hits throughout your career. What should be a great resume? What are the greatest hits of a great resume? What we strongly believe in, and we do write resumes here at our company for people, is we believe that it should strongly be an accomplishment-based, achievement-based, a results-oriented resume. That is our biggest tip for resumes. And here's the reason why. Most of the time when people come to us, first of all, writing a resume, it's tough, right?
Can't write about yourself.
Writing about yourself, it's the worst. It's the worst. And here's the reason why it's so tough is because you're sitting down and you're trying to think, okay, what do I put on this resume? Most of the time when we see people's resumes, it's everyone's old job descriptions kind of regurgitated onto the resume because that's the easy way, right? Hey, let me take all of the responsibilities that I've had throughout my career. Let me just put it in past tense and throw it onto my resume. The problem is that no hiring manager, no decision maker can really see, how did you make an impact, right? How did you bring results? How did you as an individual or a leader come into this company and really leave your mark, right? When you just have responsibilities. Now, some recruiters, some hiring managers will want to know what you're responsible for, but they will be able to see that by virtue of the results that you brought to the table, right?
Absolutely. And knowing and understanding why you are different from that pile of resumes that keep coming in every single day, that is going to be key as to picking you and saying, yes, you are the person I want to have a conversation with.
Right. And more importantly than that, what I always say is that resume is not going to be the thing that gets you hired. It's not. You are the thing that's going to get you hired. But a really well-written, great optimized resume that is speaking to your results and achievement, it's going to do a few things for you. One, when anyone gets it in their hands, they can see, wow, this person made an incredible impact. That blows my mind. I can picture them doing that for me. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it will allow you to have little bite-sized bullet points of stories that you did throughout your career that you can then expand upon within the interview. So that's a fantastic thing. And then the third thing is that now you have a highlight reel of all of these high impact achievements and results that you've been able to do that you can then build upon as you grow throughout your career, right? So those are the best parts of a resume. The other thing is that your resume is going to get scanned. It's going to get scanned very quickly. You have about 6 to 10 seconds. And if people aren't seeing metrics, results, or impact in there, again, you're just going to be another number in a stack.
And to even go a step further, if you're writing your resume toward what you used to do and not towards what you want, people are going to keep seeing you as what you used to do. So if you're looking to take that next step from individual contributor to manager, right, we need to talk about what it is you did or have done to this point as a high-level individual contributor that sets you up skill-wise to be a good manager by showcasing how you jumped in on projects, how you facilitated trainings, how you helped people who are on your vertical and on your teams improve and get better, because that's a skill set that shows that you're willing to help grow others and pay attention to more than just yourself and what you have right in front of you. If you're an executive, right, it's not just about the X's and O's on how you drove numbers, but what strategies did you take? What implementations did you lead? How did you get information from the top and disseminate it down to the actual individual contributors? What was that engagement like? What was that buy-in? How are we bringing the entire pieces to the puzzle together to make a cohesive whole? That is the key if you're an executive.
Absolutely. And so working with a resume writer, a professional resume writer, that will do you a really great service. If you have not done a resume, if you don't have one that's good or that you're proud of, or that's not working for you, because of the fact that a great resume writer, our process is we get you on a Zoom and we ask you these questions. We look at your old resume, we look at your career, we look at where you want to go, and we ask you those great questions so that we can pull out those metrics, we can pull out that result. And because we've done so many of them, we can see how you interact with other departments and what your role was, and see your potential and where you want to go, and really highlight that for you and write about you. A lot of times we talk to people who are just nervous about advocating for themselves and writing about themselves or bragging. Let us do that for you, right? Or let a good resume writer do that for you. And so that you have a good document that you feel proud of, and that will give you stories to talk about in interviews. That's something that I would highly recommend if you have not had a chance to do that. And if you are serious about advancing in your career, delegate out to a professional to get it done, right? You delegate to other people too as a leader, right? Good resume. Awesome. That is, so to recap on that with a resume, we always do the highlights with that, results oriented, really showcasing your impact, having your resume geared towards that next step in your career, not towards what you did in the past, and really making sure that it showcases what you can do, the impact that you do, and hire a good professional resume writer. Let someone else take care of it instead of you mentally having to go through that process, right? Cool. All right, what's our second tip?
Second tip is your online presence. Can you believe it? Nowadays, your online presence is so key to the job search. What's that saying the kids have now? If there isn't proof or receipts, it didn't happen.
Yep. Show me the receipts, right? So when I say the online presence, specifically, I mean LinkedIn profile. At the bare minimum, right? Now, if you are in a creative field, or if you're younger, if you are, honestly, if you're not younger, I don't care, wherever you want to go, get on TikTok, get on YouTube, get on whatever Instagram platform that you want, and start showcasing your industry thought knowledge. For instance, I'm just going to use myself as an example. I'm on TikTok. I'm sharing career advice. I'm on Instagram sharing stuff. I'm writing for Forbes. I'm writing for the University of Phoenix. I'm contributing to my industry as a thought leader. What's really great is a lot of my clients, our clients, are also doing the same. And what we start off with and what we always help them out with is creating a LinkedIn profile that showcases them as the industry thought leader that they are. And what we always also give them is best practices and videos to show them how to create a rock solid LinkedIn content strategy. So really, not only just having a LinkedIn profile that mirrors your resume, that showcases your impact, showcases what you've done throughout your career, but also showing up in your industry, right? Showing up with your network, showcasing not only lessons learned that you've had throughout your career, but also where are you going? Are you attending conferences? Are you on podcasts as guests? Are you going to different events, right? Networking with different people. Or if LinkedIn is your bare minimum and you're ready to expand into video, doing YouTube, showing how you, as a data analyst, how you created this thing that was amazing and, whatever, right? And so being able to do all of that and supplementing your resume and LinkedIn profile with other content that showcases you as an expert is going to set you apart. And all of a sudden, you're becoming the sought after industry thought leader that companies want to partner with and work with, instead of becoming just a number in a pile when it comes to advancing in your career.
And this is a mistake that a lot of professionals tend to overlook, is they tend to think like, hey, I'm just another one of these types of people, and there's already people out there sharing ideas around that. But what are your 2 cents? What point can you highlight that has been very important in your time in your career? I don't care if you're just out of college, 2 years into your first job, or you're 20 years into your career and you're leading multi-million-dollar budgets. It doesn't matter. Because what people want to know is, what authentically can you bring to the table that is different from other people? Because people crave authenticity right now. They also crave people sharing and standing up for what they believe in. So if you have a thought, a feeling about your industry, about your vertical, about what you do, there are articles out there being written on these things. Find some of them, bring and your 2 cents to the table and share it. Don't be afraid to put your thoughts out there, because people want to hear what you have to say. And if you do this enough, people are going to believe that you are the industry leader because you are consistently providing thoughts around it. And then now you're going to be sought after for those thoughts moving forward.
At the very bare minimum, when it comes to online presence, we absolutely recommend having an optimized LinkedIn profile where you are showcasing what you have done in the past of your career, your results, your achievements, your accomplishments. You're showcasing volunteer experience, your projects that you have done that are super meaningful, that really highlight what you're going after. Everything else in your LinkedIn profile being optimized, the skills, the featured section, the about section, the headline, all of that other good stuff, and really making sure that that LinkedIn profile is optimized. Other bare minimum things for your online presence is to clean up your online presence. So for instance, if you are in a job search, go through your Twitter, go through your Facebook, clean up anything that's political, that's maybe general rule of thumb. If you don't want your future boss, your mother, your grandmother, or a future date to see it, go ahead and remove it. That would be the best general thing. Even if it's set to privacy level of friends only, still remove it or select it only to only me, just so that if you are in a job search or if the career advancement is something that is a priority for you, clean it up. At a minimum or at a maximum, start thinking about contributing to your industry and really curating an online presence that speaks to where you want to go in your career. Absolutely.
I love that. I think this was a really needed part of this process to be highlighted.
Yeah.
What's that next topic?
The next topic, the third tip, is going to be a Kudos folder. This is one of my favorite tips for people, a Kudos folder. You can name this whatever you want. Kudos folder, add a girl folder, add a boy folder, I'm freaking winning folder. I don't care what you want to name it, right? Woo, I'm winning. I like to call this my winning folder. I always recommend people do a Kudos folder, and I absolutely recommend it, especially after you've gotten your resume done or you've just updated your resume. Here is the reason why, is because so far too often I've worked with people maybe 3 or 4 years ago, they've updated the resume, then they come back to me and they're like, I got to get my resume done again because I just worked for another 3 years and I don't remember anything that I just did. So This Kudos folder is going to do so much for you. What I recommend putting in here is anytime you get an email from a colleague, your boss, a coworker, someone in your network that says, "Hey, you did a really good job," or "Thank you so much for taking over that project," or whatever. This is you getting a compliment or an accolade. Screenshot it, print it out, whatever you need to do, and put it in that folder. I always recommend keeping this either on a Google Drive, a Dropbox, or a personal email folder so that, if you're moving jobs, you always have access to this folder. The other things that you can kind of put in here is just have a Google sheet of wins. Small wins throughout your day. Hey, I finished this project, a win. Someone complimented me, a win. A client reached out and said, thanked me for the customer service I provided, win. This is going to do so much for you. Do you want to talk about some of the benefits?
Honestly, when it comes to the winning stacking, it's really about habit stacking. It's learning and training your mind to be able to see every little thing as a positive or as a win on your side. And the reason why this is so integral to the job search is just because of the mindset of the search. We so quickly will binge the job search and apply to a bunch of jobs, right? And we don't hear back. The minute that we're done applying, all of a sudden our mindset is now on this downslope of a roller coaster. And until we start hearing back, it's continuing to bottom out. And then if we hear back, yay, but guess what happens? If that's a rejection email, we peak and then we plummet, because now all of a sudden we are not feeling accomplished. We're not feeling wanted. So what do we need? We need a stack of wins, a stack of proof to showcase that I am showing up. I am doing the right things on the day-to-day. I'm taking care of myself. This is why wins need not just be in your professional career, because if we are just limiting them to the professional career, well, I promise you, you're going to go through a drought at some point. You're going to go through some lulls. It's bound to happen. But if we can find other areas of life where we see that we're winning, it's going to make those wins in the professional realm come that much faster, because we're not stressing about the lack. We're feeling the abundance of all the wins that we have. And guess what happens when we're feeling abundant? More abundance comes. It's just the natural avalanche of the circumstance.
Absolutely. So Kudos folder, huge tip for us. Not only is it going to help you update and rewrite your resume because you have all of your wins and accomplishments there, but it's going to help you stack proof of winning for when you're in a drought, or when you're just not feeling yourself, or when you're having a really tough moment in your career. You can go back to this Kudos folder and you can say, hey, I am winning. I am a badass. I can overcome this imposter syndrome because I know exactly why I deserve to be here. And then the other thing is, just like Jack said, is you are training your brain to look for wins and you're looking for opportunities. This is kind of my secret, sneaky method to helping you build your strategic mindset as well. Because the more you start looking for wins and opportunities, the more you're training your brain to look for wins and opportunities, not just in your job search, but in your career and in your department and with your team. So this is a fantastic practice to implement, not just for your career, but it will do things for your brain and for your life as well. So huge tip as well.
One thing I forgot to mention, just if you are staying in your current organization, you just want to develop professionally, guarantee you're going to get a performance review. Mm-hmm. And that Kudos folder is going to come in hand when you have to walk into that performance review and lay out, hey, we're only going to be giving you 2% raise this year. Oh, really? Well, you see this stack of proof of all the things that exactly. I did well over the last 9 to 12 months. I think I'm not going to be slowing down in those areas. Oh, and here's all the other things that I'm doing now currently that I'm going to drive results on. Do you want to have another conversation? Look exactly. at this and us have another conversation. Now, all of a sudden, you're in a much more powerful position. You're not just reactive. Now you are being proactive on your career.
Awesome.
What's
Absolutely.
that third tip?
Fourth,
we are cooking.
We are already on 4. So this is a huge tip for your life, for your career, for advancing. And we always recommend, number 4, invest in your growth. Invest in your growth. So what does this mean? It can mean hiring a coach. It can mean investing in a skill development program. It can mean reading books, audiobooks. It could mean whatever it means to you. always and continually be investing in improving yourself, both professionally or personally. That is a huge tip for us.
One thing that we're really big on, you're probably going to hear a lot about, is really marginal gains, right? So Karen and I prioritize self-improvement in all areas of our life. And James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, was a big impact on us. In fact, on that cork board back there, we have 1% better every day. And that's really what investing in your growth is like, because if we're only investing in certifications to get better in our career, well, what about the rest of your life?
Mm-hmm.
How are you prioritizing relationships? How are you prioritizing communication? How are you prioritizing your health? How are you prioritizing your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being? All of these things encompass who you are. And at some point, there's going to be an inflection point where if we're only focusing on one or just a couple areas and we're not focusing on everything, we're going to run into a rut. We're going to not feel accomplished. We're going to feel something is missing. And then we're going to start searching everywhere to be able to replace that hole that we're feeling inside. But if we can continue that self-improvement, continue to seek out potential professionals to talk to, therapy, to make sure everything every once in a while is clear in the mind. Also, focusing on skill building, getting outside your comfort zone, right? Being better for yourself is going to make you a better professional. It's going to make you a better human, and it's just going to make you enjoy life to a higher degree.
Yes, absolutely. I love everything that Jack said, especially when you are focusing in all areas of your life. And it might not be in all areas at all time. You might focus on one area, right? When Jack and I really took a huge emphasis on personal and professional development when we started our business. We realized when we were in corporate, we were sort of leaving development up to bosses, leaders. Hey, if they tell us we need to develop, great, we will. When we left, we realized that was all up to us, right? And we focused on all different areas. And what was so great about it is that as we started to unlock these areas of self-improvement, it made us hungry to want to improve other areas. And what was great is we've gone on to lose weight. We've cleared up our skin. We've had the glow up. We have learned, we've improved in emotional intelligence, positive intelligence, and in so many different ways. In leadership, in entrepreneurship, in our financial health, and all of the different ways. And it's been such an incredible growth experience. And it's helped us in our careers as well. And so what we always highly recommend, and we'll be talking about all of these different ways and how we've grown both personally and struggled and messed up and made mistakes and learned from it. What we have learned is that constantly investing and using that muscle of your brain of growth is how you prevent staying stagnant in your career. It's how you learn, it's how you innovate, it's how you be creative. And by learning and growing in different areas of your life, that's how you actually get innovation and transformation in your career as well, because lessons are learned in so many different areas of your life.
I would even add further onto that, it's going to develop rock solid confidence.
Absolutely.
You're going to become more solidified in who you are.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to be able to show up in all areas of your life 10 times what you are currently.
Absolutely. I love that. All right, let's talk about our last tip and wrap this up. This last tip is probably one of my most favorite, and it kind of links to our last one, but it's developing self-leadership.
Yeah.
Developing self-leadership. So what is self-leadership? This is kind of the toughest one, right? And it's almost sort of like adulting, quote unquote, right?
Yeah, for some people, this might be something like, oh, yeah, totally get it. And some individuals are put in an environment where they're taught this very young. However, not everybody is. In fact, a lot of us need to develop this skill, or we have it in one area of our life, but we don't apply it to all areas of our lives.
Right.
And really, it really gets overlooked because most high achieving professionals, we maintain discipline in the 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
We maintain discipline in the career. But are we maintaining that same discipline in the rest of our lives? And I would say, looking back when I was in corporate, I definitely didn't.
Yeah. And for me, I was a high achiever, and we talked about all areas of our life, right? I was super disciplined in my career, but because I was so focused on that, I ended up burning out. And it's because I was not taking care of my health. I was not taking care of my mental health. I was not taking care of a lot of different things because I was so hyper focused on achieving in one area of my life, which was my career. And because of that, I was not being a good self leader when it came to my emotional intelligence, my self awareness, when it came to being disciplined and setting up routines for my best and higher self. And when it came to leading other people, that became an issue, right? It wasn't too much of an issue, but it became enough of an issue where I was like, I need to figure out how to become the best leader of myself in order to have the best version of my life, best, highest version of myself in order to succeed in every area of my life so that I can then go on and lead an individual and a team. And this is probably one of the biggest things, critical success factors that I've seen in working with executives at all levels, at all different size companies, from startups to Fortune 100s, of seeing that success factor on whether or not, specifically in that job search, they go on and land that next job quicker than others, is that self-leadership. Can they be disciplined in a job search? Can they be disciplined in their emotional intelligence, in their mindset, overcoming rejection and moving on to that next step and landing that job and being in alignment with that next company? It most of the time comes down to self-leadership.
Understanding how to process feelings and emotions, and learn the lessons that they're trying to teach us instead of ruminating in them and perpetuating the cycle, making it worse. It's really key because being ignoring how we're feeling, ignoring what's happening, really just causes a major turmoil down the road in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I know for me, it was my health. When Kara first met me, I was in what she would call a little bit under my weight. I was a little skinnier when we first met, but then immediately I was focused on my corporate job and climbing the corporate ladder. Well, guess what happened? I gained like 50 pounds. And really, I mean, it got to the point where I was a completely different person when we decided what we wanted to take this business on. We wanted a new approach. Well, guess what happened? I started percolating ideas of how else do I want to change? How else do I want to show up for myself? I started meditating. I started trying to go see a therapist so that I could work out some of the things that I was feeling, that I was processing. I was also learning how to set myself up for a routine, something that I kind of just let go by the wayside. I always like to say, oh, I'm just kind of go by the seat of my pants kind of a guy. And Kara was always so structured. And what happened was some of her structure rubbed off on me. And what that allowed me to do was added bandwidth, added mental capacity to start taking on more tasks, to start managing more of the household, to start managing more of the business. And then I kept growing in my confidence because I was doing these things to where I'm a totally different person today. I am a completely different person today than I was 4.5 years ago because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in all areas, in every facet of my life.
Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting because I remember times in my life where 4 years had gone by and I would be the same person at the beginning of 4 years and the same person at the end, because of the lack of that growth that we talked about in tip 4, or that lack of self-leadership. And so what we're really excited about with this podcast is being able to share a lot of those tips to really accelerate not only your career, but your life. When it comes to advancement, we're here to advance our lives and to help you advance your lives. And a lot of it, what we strongly believe, is it starts with your career. When it comes to your life, your career is the thing that funds the rest of your life. It's the thing that money comes in and money goes out. And unfortunately, that's where we are in life and society, right? Is money makes the world go round. And when you are in your career and you're fulfilled and you're making an impact and you're aligned with the company that you're working for, we have found that a lot of the rest of your life tends to be aligned too. And you get the opportunity to focus and grow in other areas of your life. But when you're not aligned and you're in a toxic workplace and you are grinding away and you're misaligned, that's when a lot of that health problems start to come in. And it's where a lot of our clients end up coming to us and saying, I need to get out. I need to get out and I need to find that next step. And so what we're here to help you do, and with this podcast, and we can't wait for next week, is to really help you not only learn tactical strategies and tips, like the first couple of tips, right? Your resume, your online presence, your Kudos folders, to really implement and start moving that needle towards advancing your career, but also sharing with you the lessons learned of how we have actually implemented the change and the hard work to advance and grow in our lives, both personally and professionally, and share that with you so that you can grow and advance both personally and professionally in your lives as well.
Stick around. It's going to get fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. These were our top 5 tips for advancing your career. We'll be going into more detail into all of these in future episodes. Make sure to stay tuned and we'll talk to you next week.
See ya.